This is the Fredericksburg Neighbors Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Dory Stewart.
Welcome back to another episode of the FXBG Neighbors Podcast, where we share the stories of our favorite local brands. I have a special guest joining me today. We've got Stefani Sellers with Sage Healing and Guidance. Stefani, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I'm excited for this interview. I want to learn more about you and your business. So let's start there. What is Sage Healing and Guidance?
Well, Sage Healing and Guidance is a healing practice in a nutshell. So it's a space for the unseen, the misunderstood, and the beautifully complex. So that's a roundabout way of saying if you are experiencing chronic pain, if you have complex or chronic conditions, we want to see you and we'd love to help in a very caring and open way. Our primary thing is that we listen to everything that is going on with you and we don't interrupt. So that's probably the primary. We do massage therapy, we do energy work, we do crystal healing, like a whole bunch of stuff. And every session is tailored to you, and not just to you, but to you at the specific time of your appointment. So it adjusts every time, so that way you're getting the best quality of care for you at that time.
Amazing. I absolutely love what you're doing. Who would you say is your ideal client?
So my ideal client is the person who hasn't felt heard in a long time, who is experiencing some kind of issue, whether it is chronic pain or you have a chronic condition like Lyme, Ehlers-Danlos, fibromyalgia, chronic migraines. All those conditions are things that I specifically love to work with, and my business also loves to work with.
Amazing. Those are often conditions that have doctors bouncing you around from one to the other, trying to figure out what's going on. So I love that you say that the first thing you do is listen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. So important. So I want to learn more about you. Tell me about your background and how did you get into this?
Yeah. So I started working hands-on with people, not professionally, but just, I have a very big heart, which I think if you get to know me, you'll find that out. I didn't like seeing others in pain, whether that was emotional pain or physical pain. It first manifested itself as more the physical pain. So I would like walk on my grandpa's back to make him feel better. I would massage my friends or their parents at like slumber parties. I'd work on the rest of my family as well. So just wanting to alleviate that pain, because I was like, well, you don't have to be in pain. This is something we can work on. And I went like through education, higher education, a master's degree. And then I was like, this isn't what I'm supposed to be doing. So right after my master's, actually, I enrolled in massage school. And I haven't looked back since, because I had that knowing, like, this is where I'm supposed to be. This is it. And yeah, since then I've just catapulted myself through all forms of healing that I could get my hands on. And that's why I have this really big, essentially, toolbox that I can use, and I am able to shift from one thing to the other depending on what somebody needs at a specific time. And I find it to be a very beautiful way to help people, because it's not just like, oh, well, I only do this one thing. So
Right. Yeah. It's so valuable what you do. And I imagine you just fly out of bed in the morning because you get so much out of what you do and you're truly changing lives. And so congratulations on finding that, even though it didn't, you didn't find it in the most traditional way, but congratulations on finding really what you're meant to do and meant to help other people.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I kind of levitate out of bed when I flow. Yeah.
I love it. Do you find that there are any myths or misconceptions about what you do?
Yes, there are a lot.
Oh,
So I'd say that some of the most common are like that massage or taking care of yourself are like a treat or a luxury.
mhm,
Um, a lot of people have been giving the metaphor like you put your like face mask on before you help somebody else, like as in an airplane. You put your
mhm,
oxygen mask on first before you help others. But in our day-to-day lives, a lot of people don't do that because they think, no, I can keep going. I can still do a little bit more. I can still do a little bit more. It's like, yes, you can, but then all of a sudden you're going to wake up and you're in excruciating pain, or you just can't move, or you have some kind of muscle cramp, right?
mhm,
So you really need to take care of yourself. And it's not a treat, it's not a luxury, it's actual wellness, it's actual health. Because if you don't do that, that's when people are like, oh, I'm just getting older. No, it's not about age. Uh, it's sometimes it's about acute pain, like you might have fallen, but a lot of times it's the habitual actions that we do in our day-to-day lives that cause issues down the line. And it's not
mhm.
about, getting older or anything like that. So I think those are, yeah, a few of the
Yeah.
misconceptions.
And as I think women especially and mothers too, it's, so easy to put your family and everyone else above your needs.
Hmm.
And so I imagine that's a difficult message to get out. Don't ignore the signs. And even the smallest sign is going to lead to something much bigger. So I imagine that's maybe a little bit frustrating on your end to see it happening. It's like, come see me before it gets too big.
Yeah. Well, it's like I also don't want to like impose myself on people because like I
Yeah.
could see somebody walking down the street and I'm like, I could help with that. I could help you.
That's so funny.
um, which like, I know people wouldn't necessarily respond favorably to it a lot of the time, but some people might be like, oh yes, great. Um,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So this has been, I imagine, a lot of work for you building up this business because, there's the skills side and the passion, and then there's also the business side, which, doesn't always fill our passions. So, what advice would you give someone who is thinking about starting their own business?
Well, first, congratulations and you can do it. But then when in doubt, hire out.
Hmm.
Which is something that a mentor of mine told me. So, like, uh, because the business side of being an entrepreneur isn't always what lights us up, right? It's actually like working in the business, not on the business. So, for the working on the business portions, like marketing or bookkeeping, right?
Hmm. So much
Taxes,
fun.
yeah. Just hire out to somebody whose passion it is, because there are people who are
Mhm.
passionate about like bookkeeping or for marketing, things like that. So don't let it drain your energy. Just hire somebody like and trust whose passion it is to do the things that you don't enjoy doing, and
Mhm.
it'll make everything a lot smoother.
Yeah, great advice. So when you're not working hard in and on your business, what are you doing for fun?
That's a great question. Spending time with Usually I'm spending time with family,
Mhm.
because they just, fill my cup. Family and friends, actually, both.
Mhm.
So a lot of times I grab coffee with friends, or we grab a meal. So eating out. Um, I also garden. I do a lot of things for fun.
Mhm.
Um, yeah.
Nice, nice. What are some of your, or maybe even just one of your favorite spots in the Fredericksburg area?
I love Agora uh,
Mhm.
coffee. I think it's Agora Downtown Coffee. I don't want to get it wrong. But they always have like the most friendly staff. Everybody's so welcoming. They're like, "Hi, welcome in." I'm like, "Oh, thank you." They'll put little designs on your coffee or your hot chocolate, and they have something for everybody, which I like because they have a lot of dietary. I don't want to say restrictions, but things I shouldn't eat because otherwise it'll lead to my chronic pain returning. So I like that they are more accessible for everybody.
I'm glad that you mentioned them. They're such a gem in our community. I love them.
I do too.
Wonderful. So what is something that you wish the listeners knew about Sage Healing and Guidance?
Something I wish they knew. That I'm a safe space, that my business is a safe space. So no matter what you have coming in, like if you feel comfortable enough to share it, it's going to stay in that space, and very much non-judgmental because everybody has their stuff. So it's just about, what would you like to achieve and how do we get there? Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned that. That's so important.
Yeah.
So if the listeners want to work with you, if they want to learn more from you, where can they find you?
SageHealingGuidance.com, which should be in the links. And I'm also on Instagram, so at Sage Healing and Guidance. And then I'm actually going to be having a workshop coming up online. It's on Eventbrite, June 12th at 6 p.m. So attend if you'd like.
Amazing. Well, Stefani, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today and sharing Sage with us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was great.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Fredericksburg Neighbors Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to fxbgneighborspodcast.com.